Welcome to Zurich. My name is Hans Fritschi. We are in Schwamendingen today and I have a new friend, Andreas Lang. And how did we meet?
I'm a follower of your blog, of your video blog, and I told you, read your column you have in the Farang, the weekly ones, since many years, because I'm also interested in plants. And then one day you made a video about how to prepare a rösti.
Right, yes, I remember in Nong Khai I made this video.
When you was quarantined in Nong Khai, and I thought it's so difficult to prepare a decent rösti in Thailand.
It is difficult.
You had the problem with butter. You have to find decent potatoes.
Very difficult, very difficult.
And then, while telling how it works, you missed the English word for Röstiraffel.
Oh yes, I said Röstiraffel. How can I translate this? I mean, difficult.
And then I wrote a comment to your blog and proposed the translation I checked up in the dictionary before.
Okay, but what is the translation of Röstiraffel?
It's a raffel, which in standard German is eine Reibe.
Eine Reibe, okay.
Is a grinder.
A grinder.
And so, potato grinder, and if you want to tell that the potatoes shouldn't be very fine, I'd say a coarse potato grinder.
Okay. Now we learn, education permanent.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's how our contact started, and then I read that you're forced to come back to Switzerland and have problems going back to Thailand, where you would prefer to live. And so I thought maybe one afternoon Hans will have the time and we will meet.
Okay, and he is now showing me Schwamendingen, that's a quarter of Zurich, and I grew up here. Parts of my life I grew up in Schwamendingen, so this is like a homecoming, and I have a wonderful guide and probably soon a friend. And where are we sitting now?
Okay, we found out in our email exchange that Hans Fritschi is from the same neighborhood I am living in. I wasn't born here, but I'm living here since a couple of years. And we are actually on a schoolyard, and the building you see in the background is a very old school. It must be nearly 200 years old, and it was one of the first schools in this village, in this neighborhood, who belongs to Zurich City now. And I proposed Hans Fritschi to come here and to find a quiet place. Obviously, we now have some children from kindergarten running around and having their break, but that's okay. I prefer screaming children, a little bit of children noise. I prefer it to traffic noise. Okay, I forgot to tell you a nice little story. One of the teachers, the first teachers in this schoolhouse, was a person called Bosshardt, Heinrich Bosshardt. And it looks like as he was too liberal for Zurich government, and he got problems, stopped teaching, and emigrated in quite late age to the United States, where he died. He lived and was a farmer. The funny thing is that Hans Fritschi take a picture of this Mr. Bosshardt being the author of a song, and this song, everybody knows it in Switzerland, at least the older generation, and it's the Sempacher Lied that starts with the words "Lasst hören aus alter Zeit."
Wonderful, wonderful.
I recently read an article in the local newspaper. Zurich is so rich in such fountains. There must be between 2,000 and 3,000 distributed all over the city. And what I found even more interesting is that many of those fountains are not connected to the public water network. They get their water from independent sources, and so this was planned to be this way because in case of a breakdown or of a war or whatever, these fountains would still work without pumps, without filters.
You see the house in the center between the three trees. That's where I grew up. It's a part of somewhere between Schwamendingen and Oerlikon, and funny to return to the place where I grew up as a child for till maybe 12 or so, and then we moved to another place. And this is like coming home.
You see a lot of cranes, about a dozen or so. We have a huge construction site since about a year or a little bit more. And what they are doing, they are covering a motor highway that cuts in two pieces the Hans Fritschi's ex-neighborhood. And they are putting like a box over it. So they will cover it, and it should be finished within 2-3 years. And what's the nice thing about it is that they will make a green public park on top of this motor highway, which is one of the busiest in Switzerland, connecting Zurich with the east of Switzerland, with Germany and Austria. Okay, we are near the center of our neighborhood of Schwamendingen. It's very busy, lot of traffic. 2 tramway lines going down to the city. Couple of bus lines going over to the next neighborhood, to Oerlikon. And when Hans lived here, there wasn't a tramway yet. They constructed a tunnel for the tramway about 30-40 years ago, and he left Schwamendingen before. You see, it's busy, and what is so funny, 5 minutes away there is peace and it's quiet, and it's so nice. I like it to stay here.
My new friend Andreas Lang has taken me to a neighbor's garden, and he has cooked something for me, which I one time quite a while ago last had at the garden in Nong Khai. You can see here in this garden where we are eating something very delicious and very typical for Switzerland. They also have the lemons here, and they grow very well, and during the winter they probably have to take them inside. And contrary to Thailand, you can see how wonderful the tomatoes are growing here, and they are really delicious. These are probably old varieties here that grow in abundance, and it's really nice to have a look at this garden that caters normally to the local plants. Andreas on the way has shown me the Capucinerli, these flowers here, and they are also edible. You see, you can eat them. Delicious, 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 delicious. There are some flowers. Here is a huge Christmas tree. Will be a bit cold.
It will be decorated at Christmas.
It will be decorated at Christmas. Wonderful. Look how nice this is, and there's a little hut, and this is not the Red Cross as some people believe. It might be. This is the Swiss flag, the white cross on red ground, but it served as a model for when the Red Cross was founded by Henri Dunant. He just used the Swiss flag and turned it around, and that's how the Red Cross was made.
This tree. Okay, take two.
Take two, yeah.
Yeah, we are back in the garden, sitting at the table and longing to eat that Wurstsalat. I prepared it because Hans already made a blog how difficult it is to prepare a good Wurstsalat with cheese in Thailand.
Okay, thank you very much, Andreas, for this great tour back to my roots here in Schwamendingen, where I grew up, and I mean it's highly appreciated. Look how this looks, and we better have a bite. We are very hungry now.
Give it a try.
And
Hungry and thirsty.
So good, so good.
That's always the cooks are.
No, this was great, and you're enjoying us here in Zurich, in Schwamendingen.
Have a good time.
And it was a very memorable afternoon, walking back to my
Pleasure
roots.
to meet you in person.
Yeah, it was a
not
pleasure
only
too.
virtually.
And I don't think it will be the last time
Hopefully not.
that we see each other. And for you, if you liked what you saw, please subscribe to the Hans Fritschi channel on YouTube or Hans Fritschi Friends on Facebook, and see you again very, very soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, zweimal weiter.